All right, guys, thank you so much and welcome. This is Stephan Piscano, as always, with the Stephan Piscano podcast, and I've got a very special episode for us today. I have recorded the intro for this one at least two other times, and we had to keep pushing it back just because of life situations and scheduling situations and all that fun stuff. But I'm truly excited about what we're going to do today. So I have to give you the backstory on this one. So back in May of this year, 2025, I had the privilege to be interviewed as a guest on the Where Have You Been podcast, which is hosted by Bill Roehm. And we just hit it off so much. He's such an incredible guy, such an incredible host. And since I've started the podcast about a year ago now, getting to do a lot of interviews, both as the interviewee and as the host, I can honestly say it was the most fun that I've ever had being a guest on someone else's show. And having not known each other prior to May of this year, really developed a genuine friendship to where I still text him on a regular basis, probably not as regular as he would like on occasion, because as everybody who knows me knows, I am ridiculously hard to get a hold of, even if I really like you a lot, which I do him. And so back in June of this year, after kind of having some unique experiences together, and after I was a guest on his show, I interviewed him, which is the interview that you're about to hear. And without giving away too many spoiler alerts here, I'll give you the premise of the Where Have You Been podcast. So it is a travel podcast, and as you'll hear Bill go into some detail on, he really distincts the difference between travel and vacation. You'll hear us talk a lot about that, but incredible concept to where he interviews guests, including myself, about the places they've been in their lives. Everywhere from, I talked when I was a guest on his show, just even truck stops in the middle of nowhere in Nevada or Utah, or going up and down the state of California or Ohio, wherever it may be, to luxurious international destinations like Europe and Colombia and South America and Canada, you name it. And he does it in such a beautiful way to where it's less about the restaurants that you want to go to and the scenery and the sightseeing, and it's more about the personal impact that it had on the traveler's life and the memories that they built, both for themselves and with people closest to them. So that's the concept of his show. That's what we talked about when I was a guest with him, and we covered a lot of that. But you'll hear us joking a lot about that because at the time, recording my episode with him in May, he wasn't going to air it until August 10th, which seemed like a ridiculously long time to wait to me. So you'll hear me joking and teasing him about that. And so this is my public apology. I've already profusely apologized to him many times for the delay in airing my episode that we recorded in June. Now here we are, first week of September. But you beat me, Bill. You got yours out first. So, apologies again and congrats. But I hope it's going to be worth the wait, not only for him and for myself, but for all of you that get to hear about some of the most incredible perspectives on travel as a whole, some of the locations around the world that he's been to that really connected with him. And then again, without giving too many spoilers away here right in the intro, I'm going to tell you that when we were recording Bill's podcast, the Where Have You Been podcast, there was just one of the more in-depth life experiences that any of us will ever have happened while we were on there, and you'll hear us talk about that towards the end of this episode. So I'll just say this, Bill, thank you, my friend, for your friendship, for the incredible work you do on the show, and for your patience with this episode. Everybody in my network, as you know, we with Vacation Wealth Partners, with my day job, we invest in luxury vacation rentals. I'm a habitual traveler, mainly for business, also some for pleasure and a lot for family. A lot of all of the above this year so far. So we're passionate about that. I highly recommend you go check out his show, subscribe to the Where Have You Been podcast. But above all that, this episode, as you'll understand why if you listen to the whole thing, is dedicated to Bill's mom and my mom and all the moms out there. And it's an honor to call you a friend, Bill. It's an honor to have this episode finally air. And without further ado, here is the Stephan Piscano Show interviewing Bill Roehm, the founder and content creator of the Where Have You Been podcast. I really hope you enjoy it, guys. All right, guys, thank you so much and welcome. This is Stephan Piscano with the Stephan Piscano podcast, aptly named. And I've got a fun episode for you guys today. I've got a new friend of mine. His name is Bill Roehm, and he has a really awesome podcast that I was a guest on, I guess about 2-3 weeks ago now, called Where Have You Been? We were just joking about it offline here that he doesn't know what we're going to talk about and all this, and he doesn't think his show is fancy enough. And so I want all of the people in my network to show him that is not the case, because he is one of the coolest people that I have ever met in this industry. And, you know, I'm not going to say ever met anywhere yet. I've got to get to know him a little bit more. But I had so much fun on his show, and it's such a cool concept. And since I've started my podcast, done shows with other people, and you're kind of learning how this game works and all that, I can honestly say this is the best interviewer that I have ever engaged with in that way. And I think it's one of the coolest concepts, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But the premise of his show is to bring in people from all different walks of life and interview them from a travel standpoint about where have they been and what were their personal experiences. And he does it in such a genuine, beautiful way that it really is a lot of fun. So, Bill, I'm honored to have you on the show. Thank you for doing this, my friend.
It's way too much, man. It's way too much.
You're going to say something.
You're making me feel so special. Like,
I'm trying to be like Shannon Sharp. You ever watch Shannon Sharp on the YouTube?
I did, and it was like a 2-hour thing with somebody else. Yeah, but like it's too much. It's too much. You're making me feel emotions, and you can't do that at the very beginning. You can't make someone feel emotions at the very beginning.
Well, I mean, I was just telling you offline too. I mean it. I mean, you're an incredible host, and
Stop it.
I'm going to make you cry. This is why we're not doing video, so that neither of us get too sappy and start getting weird and crying or whatever. But no, thank you, Faber. And we always, when I was on your show, we recorded it super late at night, just kind of spontaneous, and that's exactly what we're doing tonight too. And you're on the East Coast, so it's even later for you. So I appreciate you.
It's all for you. It's all.
Good. It should be. And I think the episode we did on yours, that's coming out sometime in the spring of 2027. Is that right?
Somewhere in that range.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say that actually when you introduced me and you were talking about like you did this episode with me, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think, depending on when this airs, it didn't already happen as far as your guests know. I think we're sometime in August, probably. I'm not sure. I have to look, but no, honestly, like we did have a really fantastic time. But you're right, like, and you're not lying to your guests for what it's worth to the listeners.
Thank you for that validation.
You're not lying for that. Like we had a fantastic time, and it really was. We did not plan to actually have that recording that night. It just sort of happened, and I think that was one of the most fun parts about it. It was so spontaneous. Because even though I have some sort of a format for my podcast, it was so unexpected that we actually did it. And it was so much fun. We really did just have a lot of fun. So I really enjoyed it.
Well, and it wasn't much fun for me, but I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Well, that's fair. Thanks a lot.
I had to do that. If you guys ever do hear the episode that I did on he picked on me. We were just joking about offline. He picked on me the whole time. So I had to get one in now that I'm the host.
Not the whole time. Come on, man.
No. No, and it was cool too. And I told a lot of people about, I mean, not to make it weird, but I told a lot of people about it like the next day, and friends and family and partners, because I really love that. That's what I love about life in general. And that's what I love about business. We were just rambling about that too, but it's so cool when in a business setting, you go into it with whatever perception you go into it and whatever goal you go into it, and then you make genuine connections. And I have the feeling that probably happens for you a lot.
It happens more than I expected it to happen, but you're the only person that has reached out to me in a very meaningful way. And I'm not going to get into the situation, but had a very, very personal situation happen with me. And for somebody who, we met very briefly, and for that to happen with you, and again, I'm not going to let the listeners know it's personal, but it means a lot that you and I connected in a very special way, and it's very cool. We definitely had a really cool, unique experience on my podcast, and I appreciate that very much.
Well, likewise, brother. And that's where I was going with it too. And then I'll get into some actual questions here, and then we'll get back to the rambling, which I think we both enjoy the most. But it was funny because when it comes to appointment scheduling, I'm a pretty busy guy, and I'm doing a lot of things on the business side that I'm thankful to do. But when it comes to getting me on a scheduled meeting, people that know me know it's really hard to do. And our pre-interview for your show was somewhat spontaneous because I think I had missed the first one, right?
Yeah.
And then I texted you, and you happened to be free, and it was supposed to be like a 20-minute thing. And when you include the pre-interview and then you spontaneously being like, you want to just record it now? And me being like, okay. I think we were on the phone or on the whatever this is, Zoom or whatever it is, for 5 hours, I think.
Start to finish, probably. I mean, we very purposely took a break, but yeah, it was start to finish. It was probably close to, I would say 4 anyway.
Yeah,
for sure.
4, yeah.
Because the podcast went almost 2, and we had talked for our 15-minute probably turned into 45, and we took a break in between. So yeah, 3 to 4 hours for sure that we spent together that
and
night.
That's a credit to you. As we talked about, and as my listeners know, even though I've only had the podcast since October of 2024, I've done 500-600 webinars, mostly targeted specifically to real estate stuff and partnership opportunities, but since 2011, 2012. And there's a real art form from an interviewer standpoint, and you really do have that natural gift. So that's my last compliment for you for a little bit, and tell everybody what the podcast is all about, just so we can make sure people actually hopefully do go check it out, because I think everybody will enjoy it, and what gave you the inspiration to want to start it.
Now you're just like fluffing stuff for me now. Like,
that's what I'm here for.
Trying to make me feel good. Yeah, I'll take it. That's fine. So, I mean, I'll try to be brief because, people who are listening to your podcast want to hear about your podcast. But
we invest in vacation rentals, my friend. We love travel. This is the travel spot.
So, I mean, for what it's worth, I work in banking, and I discovered some years ago that I would have conversations with people who also had a love of travel, and we could sit there and have travel conversations for hours. And I mean that literally. Like, I could sit there in my office and talk with someone for hours about travel. And what happened was we would have this back and forth. And at some point, something happened. And it was probably before it was actually a travel thing. Maybe it was more like just a humanity thing. There was something that happened where people would tell about their lives and what they had going on. And it meant so much to me that I was like, if this means so much to this person, it should mean something to the world, because everyone's life matters and everyone's life experiences matter.
Yeah.
And so when it evolved into a travel thing, when travel became a thing for me, that just made sense. I have a radio background. I did 7 years plus in small market radio, which is fun. It just doesn't pay you. So there's something there, which it's great to do it if you have another source of income, but I didn't. So I did my time and I got out. But in whatever happened with that, when I started to actually have conversations with people about their travel stories, and I realized that we actually really enjoyed hearing each other's stories and telling our own stories, there was something there. And so I just felt like, again, if we both enjoyed what we're doing, what we're talking about, somebody else is going to enjoy that too. And so At some point, it just became a thing for me where I just said, I feel like I should do something with this. Like I already have a voice. I already know how to talk. I have this background. And so why not get some equipment, some basic stuff that I can use and actually have these conversations and have these be out there for everyone else to hear. And part of that, which I say this all the time, and a sappy thing, or maybe it's over the top, but for me it's meaningful, is that human beings have. And travel, like, for me, travel is such a huge part of my life, and it has been, and it's for a short time for me, but it's such a huge part of my life. And I feel like if those stories would go to the grave with people, yeah, I get it that the stories that you have are your own, and they're for you, and your family and whatever. But I just feel like it's such a waste if those stories don't have the opportunity to affect other people. Yeah, and that's sort of like where it came from, was like, I enjoy this so much, and the things that you've experienced, even like you, Stephen, I'm sorry. Stefan, your stories matter so much because, like, they're your own unique experiences. But if they're not shared with the world, then yeah, I get it. Like, it's for you, but why not let them be shared with the world, and why not let them be there out there for eternity, for others to experience and maybe be touched by those stories. So,
Such a
like,
great. No, go ahead.
I just want to, like, just to finish with it, like, maybe it's over the top. Maybe I'm being too grandiose with what I'm doing. I don't know. Like, I'm still so new at this. I just feel like when I talk to somebody else and I hear their stories, they mean so much to me. And when I'm interviewing guests, and I have so many episodes that I've had where tears come to my eyes because I can feel it. I can feel those stories that those people have. But you know what? If they don't have an opportunity to share those stories with somebody else, what happens with them? So I just want to be that conduit. I just want to be that place to be able to actually share those stories with the world. And if somebody feels something by them, great. If they don't, so be it. But I just want to put them out there in the world.
I think it's great, my friend. I don't think you're overstating it at all. I mean, and it's such an incredible connector, right? That's what I was just thinking as I'm listening to you describe it. And I'm thinking about my own experiences and doing all the travel that I did, not for fun as a child that we talked about, and then the travel that I have done for business or for fun as an adult. And either way, when you meet a stranger and you've been to Deming, New Mexico, or you've been to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, or Jacksonville, and you both have stories about it, it's one of the most, if not, one of the most beautiful connectors that I've ever seen, right? You're immediately friends because you've been to the same place and you can share your experiences.
Yeah, I've been nowhere where you've been. Nowhere.
But, well, that's because you do the international stuff. I'm just USA. Let's go.
But that said, like, you're right though. Like, what you're saying, and I'm being sarcastic, and truthful as well. Like, I've been nowhere.
Yeah.
But
I've been to 46 states, Bill. But anyway, you've been.
Yeah, I have. But like, when you have a story where you've been somewhere that someone else has been, especially with you, like, to be able to sit down and just be around a campfire, like these are in my mind, these are the places where you share these stories. You're around a campfire, or you're just hanging out with, like, your family or your friends, or friends and family, whatever. But that, when you have that opportunity to actually, like, you start telling your tale of the story, and then your friend starts telling their tale of the story, but it's the same story.
The perspective's different.
Absolutely. And then there's, like, filling in of gaps that, like, one person is telling something, but somebody else can actually fill in those holes. But also, like you said, like, if you've been somewhere and I've been the same place, our perspectives could be completely different, but it's the same place, and maybe it's even the same time frame, which I think time frame matters a ton, because places change so fast. But, like, if we have that, like, that matters so much, to be able to listen to two people to tell the same, like, similar story of the same place, and be there maybe a different couple of years apart or something.
Well, and it just made me think about it right now too, and this is why I love your background and what you're able to do. from a thought-provoking standpoint, we all have special moments in our lives, right? And we have special time periods, years, months, decades, whatever it is. But a trip, traveling somewhere kind of puts a timestamp on it, right? To where you remember it, to where it's like when you're talking with your family, oh, I remember that trip to, Laughlin, Nevada. Oh, I remember that trip to Southern California or Disney World or Disneyland or whatever it is. And that puts a stamp on it to where you're going to remember that specific week or 6 days or 2 weeks or whatever it is, because there was a specific definitive thing you were doing. And that makes it easier, good or bad, to remember that moment more so than if it's just a random Monday in October.
Well, for sure. I mean, but when you're talking about a place that's a very specific destination, there's going to definitely be some really cool stories, and that's one of the most fun parts for me too, is just hearing everyone else's perspectives on the same place. And travel, I mean, travel in and of itself is incredible. And if I hate to dive into this so early, but if you haven't experienced travel, and I use the word travel very specifically, because I think there's a very big difference between travel and vacation.
Mm-hmm.
You can vacation somewhere and have a great time, but you're not learning anything. You're
just
relaxing, you're having fun. It's a great time. You may have incredible memories with your family and your friends and whoever you went with. But for me, the word travel means something different. And that means that I'm immersing myself in the culture, and I'm getting to know the locals, and I'm eating the meals that they eat on a regular basis. I'm not doing stuff that vacationers do. I'm doing stuff that locals do, because
vacationing is more like what you normally do at home, but just with a different backdrop, different setting.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, sort of. No. I'm just kidding. I'm just screwing
He's
with you.
mean to me all the time. I don't know why I like it. I don't know what that says about me.
But I mean, yeah, it's to me, vacationing is, I just want to relax. I just want to escape what I have in my daily life. So whatever that means for you, if that means, maybe that even means going to, like, I don't know, Paris, and I'm going to see the Eiffel Tower, I'm going to go and see the museum and whatever. But that doesn't necessarily have to be travel. If you're just going there and you're seeing the sights and you're going home, that's a vacation to me.
Yeah.
And maybe for people there doesn't have to be like a delineation, but for me there is, and that's just the truth. And
I
so
remember.
Go ahead.
Well, no, just to piggyback on that, I remember you mentioned that on your show when I was on there, and it really stuck with me because I think it's incredibly accurate, and it feels like, and this is to bring everything full circle of what we've talked about so far, both from our friendship, whatever you want to call it, and travel from an introspective standpoint. It feels like to you, and I would agree, that travel is more about connecting with human beings and the culture in that area that you're traveling to, almost like an emotional and mental exploration, whereas a vacation is just about similar fun to what you would normally have and relaxation. Is that accurate to say?
I think to a degree, yes. I think that vacation for me is very specifically, it's an escape from day-to-day life. Mm-hmm. So vacation for me is, let me get away. I just want to get away. And travel for me, true travel is for me, it's immersing yourself in a culture, but it doesn't have to be that for everyone. It doesn't have to be true immersion, but there's something more than just, I'm going to go find a hotel or a resort somewhere that I can stay in and just escape my everyday. There's more to that. There has to be more. If you're truly traveling, you're learning something. You're interacting with locals, or you are, at least, if nothing else, you're exploring the area that you're in. You're not just going there, staying in a place, eating the meals in the restaurant that are there and nothing else. There has to be more. You have to do something. You have to be active.
You're exploring what makes that location special, whether it's the people, the food, the unique experiences. You're diving into that place. What makes that place it?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a big part of it. Yes.
So I'm going to turn the tables on you, Bill.
Knock it off. Don't make this. Why are you making this difficult?
Trying to live up to the standards you set as a great host. So tell me of the places you've traveled to. What places stand out and what memories stand out for you that you really connected with that trip, that exploration?
I don't know if I have a real true answer to that, very specific answer to that. I can tell you that the place that I went to that I felt so connected to, and the hard part for me to answer your question is because I don't know why. And I wish I did. But the place that I went that I felt so connected to, and I sincerely don't know why, was Medellin, Colombia. I don't know why. I have no connection to the place. I have no heritage.
Have you done a lot of cocaine, Bill? Is this the time you want to let everybody know that?
Not recently. Which probably makes sense. No, I've never done it.
No.
But like for some reason that place spoke to me so deeply, and I was only there for like 3 days, and for some reason it was just start to finish, the people, the experiences that I had, the places that I saw, the changes that they made in that country, the care and the love that they had for each other and for their region and for where they were, and for understanding what they went through and understanding what the world thought of them. Like, this is the place where you watch movies and TV shows about like drug cartels. Like, that's what this stuff is based on.
Yeah.
Because it was literally like the drug capital of the world for many years. Yeah, and Pablo Escobar was, I don't know that he was ever actually physically in Medellin, but
wasn't that the name of the cartel, though? The Medellin cartel? Or I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but...
Well, maybe, and you can say Medellin if you want to, but I was there physically.
No, I know, that's why I said that.
So that's why I say Medellin. But the influence was so distinct, and like the trains that went from any part of the country to the coast, which that's where they brought everything up and down the coast to North America. It all went through Medellin. So that part of that country was so influential in the world for so long. And they took that area and that region after there was a very distinct military action that went on to actually clear everything out of there, and then turned it into this beautiful place. If you go there now, like I was there 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago, it's not graffiti, it's art. Like the murals that they have on the walls of the buildings everywhere you turn in this small place, and the infrastructure they've built with like escalators, outdoor escalators that bring the people who are way up top, who were so lower class and had no money and no anything. And to be able to, that was the point of it, was to bring them down to where the food is and the supplies are and the money is, and to be able to connect them. And that's what's there now, is these outdoor escalators which bring them, the lower class, down to the upper class. And in between there, on these intermediate levels, shops, restaurants, stores, like art galleries. Like, it's so incredible, man, what they've done. And when they first built these escalators, people thought they were a joke and they made fun of them. And now, like today, I think they truly appreciate that this is something that actually brings them together. And what they've done is just, it's magical. And I'm telling you that this place was life-changing for me. I don't even remember what the question was. I'm just telling you that now, having been there, that place was life-changing. And I'm of the mindset as a traveler, as a world traveler, that the world is so vast. And that was, if you listen to my podcast feed, not to tout myself, but I was on someone else's, Where Have You Been, Bitch? And she took my quote of my quote was, the world is so vast. And it's just something I just really feel. The world is so vast. And that's what she titled the episode. But I really mean that. The world is so vast. But of all the places that I've been, of all the places that I want to be, that's one of the places I want to go back to. It's magical, man. It's wonderful. The people are incredible. They're so loving and caring. They've been through so much hardship and so much repression, and to rebound the way that they did, and just embrace economy and tourism, and understand what it means to function as a society. It's incredible, man.
No, and as you're talking, I just Googled it to see some photos here, and it looks spectacular.
Super famous artists in their area, super famous artists, rappers, performers have gone and performed there and tried to bring attention because it's deserved.
Well, and gosh, the mind, and that's what I was going to say even before you mentioned the artist, but that makes sense because I was just thinking the minds you'd have to even come up with that concept is impressive. When we air this or do the editing, I'm going to put some better photos up while you're talking, because you have to see it, guys. If you're listening to the audio, do a Google yourselves.
Area, my friend, like I'm not kidding you. The entire area. And we think about painting on buildings and stuff as being graffiti. None of that, not a single bit of that is graffiti. It is art.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, man. Like, yeah,
sounds like
really
you can
wonderful.
Really feel the emotions of the people within the art and within the whole concept.
1,000%. It's one of those places that you can walk around. You don't feel unsafe anywhere you go, which is so crazy to think. Like,
yeah,
we talk about travel, and in my podcast, we talk about places that people have been sometimes decades ago, and they talk about places they've been that have been like so harrowing and terrible and ridiculous and awful. And we also talk about the fact that places change. Well, geez, God, like this place changed so much. The stuff that you're seeing there now, and the fact that you can walk around a place where you physically could not, 20 years ago, you do not go to Medellin. You will go there and you will die. And I'm not,
or whatever. Yeah.
I'm not saying that facetiously. Like, you will go there, you will die. Somebody will kill you. And no bullshit. Like, you will die. And now you go there and you experience the culture and the people and the history and yeah. So I'm sorry to keep going with it, but
no, it's
place of all the places I've been, and I've been a number of places, but that place left a moment in my life that I will never forget, and I will go back.
Do you feel like you can feel the history of a location when you're there? Like if you're in Colombia, like you're describing, or if you're in Las Vegas and you go and you stay at a hotel that Elvis stayed at or whatever it is, do you feel like you feel that energy from 50 years earlier, 20 years earlier, whatever it is?
I don't on my own. I found something some years ago. When travel became a thing for me, it was mostly a let's be counterculture. Let's find places on our own. Let's be different than everybody else, and let's explore on our own. And something happened at one point where we decided to do like a walking tour of a place. I don't remember where it was or what the exact situation was, But something happened along the way where we decided, like, let's do a walking tour. And I will tell you, as a traveler, if you are a traveler, if you've had the same mindset that I did, like, let's just do it ourselves and let's be different than the norm.
Yeah.
Yes. Screw that shit. Like, just go find somebody, especially someone who does not, there's no cost. It's all donation based. Find somebody like that who will walk you around a place and give you all the information. You will learn so much more than you would ever know by Googling a place, because you can only take in so much. And when you Google something, you're only getting information on what your specific search is. And
Well,
these
and it's
people are telling you
also,
stuff.
well, can you trust anything that's monetized to the extent that Google is, right? Because they're not only showing you stuff that's formatted, but they're showing you things by their business model that are designed to get you to spend money by people that have paid them for that purpose.
For
As
sure.
opposed
Yeah,
to,
you're definitely getting results that are paid for by somebody to some
yeah,
degree. Yeah, for
one
sure.
way or another.
But when you get somebody who's local, who will walk you around a place and is not asking you specifically for a fee, and you pay them whatever you want, whatever you feel is appropriate when it's all said and done. Uh, and I'm just telling you, in my own experience, it's wonderful. I feel like I learned so much in so many places from people who would walk me around somewhere. And that's what happened in so many places, but Medellin is one of them, just for example. And he brought us to a place. He was from there. He moved away. He became a teacher, and then realized that being a tour guide was actually more lucrative because the tourism has started to come back. His sister was a nurse, and he turned her on to being a tour guide because, again, like, the tourism was so good that the money was actually better, you know. And but he brought us to neighborhoods that he grew up in, and so he had stories that were so unique and so distinctive.
Again, the
And
human connection, my friend.
yes, and he was there before the military had come in and cleared the whole place out, and he was also there during that whole time. And so the stories that he shared with us, you can't go there as a tourist and just walk around and see things and get that same experience if you're to see it or hear it or feel it through somebody else's eyes or their lens. It's so much more incredible and impactful. And that's what made the whole place so special for me, was learning the stories from somebody who lived there, grew up there, lived through this whole thing that happened with the drug cartels and everything, and understanding what happened when the military came in and cleared the whole place out. And
Yeah.
like, the whole thing was very impactful.
That's incredible. Well, and you said something. I was kind of toying with asking you a question, and then you kind of alluded to it a few minutes ago when you said it depends on who you're with. But how much of the way that we connect with a trip on a travel perspective and remember that experience, how much for you do you think depends on the people that you're with? Because I know when we talked on your show, I found, and I didn't know it would go that way, but I found that a lot of my stories ended up being, around specific people, either that I met on the trip or, my wife or my mom or whoever it was. It was that human aspect of that made it special to me. But how much do you feel that impacts a trip? Do you feel like it's possible to go to a place by yourself, which, we've both had great memories and experience doing that too, I'm sure, but how much do you feel that impacts the company that you're with on a travel experience?
You're asking me questions like I'm an expert of something. I'm a human being. I have no expertise of anything.
We're all human beings, brother, but I think you articulate it, pretty fantastic, my humble opinion.
Yeah, you like me. So I think, like, for me, what I will say is it's a very different experience to do something by yourself as opposed to doing something with someone else. And the reason for that is, I think that, like, as far as travel is concerned, I haven't done solo travel, but I can tell you from what I know of, how do I word this? Non-solo travel. The cool thing for me is I know that when I sit down with somebody else who has experienced the same thing with me, when we start to tell a story together, it's very cool. It's very cool because my experience of the same place, the same time, the same everything is so different sometimes than the other person. And so when we tell a story together, it's, I think, in many ways, like way more incredible than if I try to tell you what I did by myself. And I have done, I guess I've done solo travel within other forms of travel. And I can tell you, like, when I was in Venice with my family, and I had a day by myself because my daughter was sick. And so my ex-wife was like with my daughter because that was like kind of her turn to take care of her. And so I decided that I was going to go off by myself. And it worked out to be a beautiful day. Like I had been in Italy before, and we were in Rome, and we spent a day in Venice, and I wanted to have fried pizza. If you've never heard of fried pizza,
I've heard of it. I've never had it, but I just got immediately hungry when you said that.
look up fried pizza, find a place that's near you that you can get it. You probably can't unless you're in New York City. I mean that wholeheartedly. Probably
I've never
can't.
had.
But when we went to Rome, we had asked for fried pizza, and the guy brought us to a place, and we did not have fried pizza. So, okay. And so for years, I mean this, years, I regretted this because in the meantime, I'd watched shows and Bourdain and whoever else, and they went to places and somebody made fried pizza and it was like so incredible. And so I regretted it every day. And so we went back to Italy for the first time in 8 years at the time. And we did a walking tour in Venice. And I pulled her aside and I asked her, is there a place that I can find some fried pizza? And she said, yes, there's this place down the road, down the walkway, because if you've been to Venice, it's all small walkways, alleyways, it feels like.
Here's my first stupid question for you, in my opinion anyway.
No, it's not your first stupid question.
I knew you were going to say that. But in Venice, is that where they do the boats and the gondolas or whatnot, or is that Rome?
It's Venice.
Okay.
It was a very stupid question.
I think the audio's bad on this. I think we're going to cancel.
So I asked her the question. Yeah, she said, yeah, there's a place. And he's from Naples, which Napoli, Naples, that's where it originated from. And so I'm not telling you the backstory, which is when we went to Naples and I did not have it. So we had a day where, again, my daughter didn't feel well and my wife stayed with her. And so it was kind of like everyone just kind of do your own thing. And so I'm going back, and we actually stayed off the mainland of Venice. So Venice is like 116 islands in and of itself. And then we stayed on another island off the coast of Venice. But so I took the boat back. They have boat taxis, which are awesome, by the way. That
sounds awesome.
Boat taxis are very cool.
I experienced that in Laughlin, Nevada, but it was a whole other deal. They just take you up and down the Colorado River. But anyway.
Yeah, it's probably not the same. Thank you for interjecting. So I went back and I went back there and I have pictures of it. I've never had. So first of all, let me at least tell you this. If you've never had a pizza in Italy, if you go to any restaurant, I don't care if you're talking about like fried pizza or just pizza. You go to any restaurant in Italy and you order a pizza, it's meant to be a meal. In the United States of America, a pizza is small, medium, large, personal size, whatever, stuffed crust, pan pizza, whatever. Like we have so many varieties.
Detroit style, yeah.
Yeah, none of that matters. If you're in Italy, you get pizza. And it's pizza. It's a meal. It's a meal for one person. It sounds funny because to us, I feel like, at least in America, pizza is a shared dish. So, hey, what are you doing? What are we doing tonight? We're going to watch some sports? Yeah, let's order a pizza, some wings, whatever, and we'll share it, But that's not what it is. When you go to Italy and you order a pizza, that's your dinner.
It's like ordering a sandwich or a cheeseburger or a steak. It's an individualized thing.
It is. If you choose to share it, then so be it. But that's not what the point is. It's the perfect size. It's the perfect portion. It's the perfect thickness. It's not too thick. It's not too thin. It's the right thing for you to have as one meal. That's your meal, is pizza. And so when I had that, when I finally got to have that fried pizza, oh my God, dude. I wish I could describe it. Like,
No, you
actually
don't need to. Please don't, because I'm already hungry. I'm fasting.
It's a fried. Listen, it's fried dough. It's the
and then he just
the dough is fresh made. It's dropped into the whatever oils that they use, and it's fried perfectly. And the outside is crunchy and crispy, and the inside is soft and fluffy, and it's thin, and the toppings are so fresh and so perfect. You're talking fresh mozzarella and fresh basil, and I don't think I had any meat. Like, I didn't need any meat. It was so unbelievably wonderful. I was so upset that I had missed that so many years prior. Dude, it was so worth it when I finally had it. I can't explain it.
I've had experiences with food like that, and I jokingly told you before, and I'm going to tell you again, I think the spin-off podcast needs to be What Have You Eaten? Food is also a great connector, too. It really is.
It is. Yeah, and one of my questions that I have on my podcast is, which I think actually it sort of flips from what you just said, though. But one of my favorite questions I have on my podcast is, of all the places that you've been in the world, what is your favorite meal experience that you've ever had? And for the first time in my life, for the first time in the podcast, just last night, well, whenever this airs, it was, some time ago. But somebody actually explained an experience they had, and the food was not a part of it. It was where they were.
Ambiance and
yes, and that matters so much.
It does. I was just thinking that too when you were talking about it, because
that you're with, yes.
Yeah. And I think when you asked me the question on your show, I think I told you just pure food wise, it was kind of random. There was like a steakhouse in Elko, Nevada, and a place called Sam's Diner in Denver, Colorado.
You mentioned that place like 3 times, and I ignored it because it was like too much.
I'm telling you, but just food wise, and they give you a lot of. It's a good old truck stop kind of energy there. But experience, ambiance, like I've had some mediocre food or like good food, but the food's not blowing you away. But just the team that's there, the scenery, the energy of the place makes it explode.
So doesn't that matter too? Like, who you're with as well, for I think for the guest that I had, like, it was about the fact that his wife, his daughters were there, and they were also in a beautiful place and a place that you can't replicate in the United States. Like, that was the point for him, was this is a place that I will never be in again, and I have like the most incredible people in my life here with me. And the food was, and literally, he was like, I don't remember what I had. And then he was like, I think it was chicken. Like,
well, I'll tell you this, yeah, and I agree. And actually, wow, I didn't even until you just said that. But talking about the diner that you hate so much, Sam's number 3 diner. The reason, I don't know if I said it on your show or not, but I think
are you sponsored by them?
My wife and I just had such a killer time. And they're just laughing, and I'm making fun of her about how big the burrito is. It's half the size of her. And you remember those things, and that feeling is what's special. It's not the food. The food's just an extra caveat for that, but it's the feeling you get when you think about it. And yeah, I agree. I think it's about the people. All of my favorite restaurants I've eaten at are when I was with the people I love the most. I agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah. The feeling that you're left with is what matters the most. However that happens, that's what matters the most.
You can get that with Crystal's Ham. Do you know Crystal's Hamburgers? Because you're a Northeast Coast guy. So have you ever had Crystal's?
We don't have that here.
It's like White Castle, basically. Same thing. But
you know what?
yeah.
I've never had White Castle in person. I will tell you that White Castle out of the freezer, buying them in the frozen case, they're not bad. They're not bad.
Crystal's is like that, but better. And that's the southern version of it. And like I've got memories with my brother-in-law eating, because they're so small. You order a sack of them, like a 20 sack.
So they're like sliders then.
Yeah, they're little sliders. Yeah, and I think we ate like 60 of them one night, and that's fast food, but that's a special memory. So anyway, you can get it.
60? Wait a minute. Wait. Let's not.
I'm a hefty guy.
Breeze past that.
I gotta fast sometimes, my friend, because I love food so much. That's why you're being so aggressive by describing this fried pizza, because it's making me.
No. I want to know this. Like, so you can't breeze past that. So 60 of them in a sitting between.
Yeah, well, that's between the two
people.
Yeah,
even between two people. Come on, dude.
And I think I ate like close to 40, and he ate around 20. So I ate quite a bit more than he did.
Come on, man. That's an accomplishment. That's good.
Yeah, no, I actually won a pizza eating. My mom, who you love so much there from our conversation on your show, and I love too, of course. But
just it's good of you to add that.
Yeah, I got to make a caveat. Yeah, growing up in Alabama, Crystal's Hamburgers, Chick-fil-A, and Rally Burger were my three favorite things as a kid. But then moving to the West Coast, I hadn't had Crystal's in a long time. So when my brother moved to Jacksonville and got stationed there, and then I'm like, you can get Crystal's here? I was like, we have to do this. And so anyway, it was a display of gratitude and love for the great franchise that Crystal's Burgers is. So
are they all over Florida, or they're selective?
They're all over the South. I mean, there's actually, I don't know if it's a myth or if it's a real thing. It seems like it's a real thing, but because White Castle and Crystal's are so similar, there was an agreement, the Mason-Dixon line, that they wouldn't compete with each other. So, because it's basically the exact same thing. So all the White Castles are above the Mason-Dixon line, and all the Crystals are below. Fun fact.
So if I go to Orlando, can I get Crystals?
Heck yeah, you can. You are going to Florida soon, aren't you? In July, I think, if I remember right.
I'll be there in a couple weeks. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know when this is airing, so.
I might air it tomorrow, unless you give me a bunch of stuff I have to edit
out. I already gave you a whole bunch of stuff to edit out.
Well,
you're gonna have fun with this one.
Well, let me ask you, and I knew I would ramble with you a lot, and that's part of why we're doing it late at night. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, because we focus a lot on entrepreneurial motivation, and when you start a podcast, it's a big deal, and I know. I mean, hey, there's a lot of people.
I'm not smart, man. I'm not smart.
Well, in number one, here's the thing. So in my opinion, this is from a guy that recently started a podcast also. There's a lot of hurdles you have to overcome just with yourself, first and foremost. It's scary to put yourself out there in that way and ramble for hours and hours and have that documented. You have to overcome a lot of hurdles with just that. Then once you overcome that, there's the hurdles of technology-wise, how do you do it? You have to do that. And then you have to stick with it, which you do much better than me, because my listeners know my episodes are sporadic as heck. But you actually stick to the protocol, stick to the schedule. So talk to me about what it's been like starting the podcast, and net positive, net negative, overall rewarding experience. What are some of the things you had to overcome to even get it to the first episode, to episode 1, and then keep it going?
I had this strange feeling that you would go this way, and I also had this huge hope that you wouldn't go this way.
We're entrepreneurs here. We're all friends here.
I don't know how to answer that question, man. Like, honestly, like when I did this, I I did it because it was something that I had thought about for a long time. And I think that for myself, my journey is probably different than most just because I do have a radio background. So I'm
Know how
used to talking to people. So even though it may be in a different format, but I'm used to at least talking. And so when I did it, I thought about doing it for a lot of years. Even like I joke about it, but my kids would ask me every Christmas, what do you want for Christmas? And there was one year where I was like, just give me like podcast equipment because I knew that I wanted to do it. And I think this was like late 22. And they did. Like I was completely surprised. The mic I'm using right now was from my kids in 2022.
Awesome. That's awesome.
And I looked at it for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, that's a fun idea. Yeah, and that's what I want to do. And then I was divorcing and moved out and living in my own place. And finally, at some point, I was like, yeah, it's just me now. Like, I can do whatever I want to do. And granted, like, for what it's worth, my ex-wife is very supportive of what I'm doing.
You told me that.
And I think I'm really straying from your question, to be honest.
No.
But, like, yeah, I'm in a place where, yeah. So now I'm kind of doing what I want to do, I guess. But what was your original question? Because I want to go back to that.
No, I mean, you're answering it, brother. You're answering it. I mean, the extra one was some of the hurdles you had to overcome. But I mean, I think the biggest premise of it is really what made you want to start it and what led you. Because I mean, I can relate to it. I mean, again, and people in my network know, I mean, I've been hosting webinars, not podcasts, but webinars since 2012.
Well,
And
you're old because nobody does webinars anymore.
well, see, that's what I'm finding out actually, and that's to talk about hurdles. That's something that's been interesting for me as a guy that still technically owns a digital marketing company. Podcast and YouTube, it's a whole other world than what it was even 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Sure as heck, 15. So, but I can't tell you how many times I had people close to me say, "You need to do a podcast," and I wanted to, but I didn't until recently. And so I understand what it's like to stare at that microphone for 2 years and you want to do it, but for whatever reason, and some of them are practical, some of them aren't, you don't. And it sounds like it was your family, I guess it sounds like, that pushed you over the edge to finally be like that, and the freedom of your situation there, that you were like, you know what, now's the time. Am I hearing you correct?
Yeah, and it was sort of both ways because I think that my family would have been supportive to begin with, but yeah, definitely something happened when there was a separation that allowed me that freedom to be able to, or at least for me, even though I think it was there to begin with, I finally felt it to be able to actually do it myself. And I don't have the answers as far as I just finally decided to do it, and what's funny for me is I think when you start a podcast, you can tell me if you had the same experience that I did. When you first start, you kind of start with friends, family, whoever will be a guest, because
Yeah.
you
People
don't
you
really
already
have stuff. You don't have stuff lined up. So I had basically nothing, and so I had a few friends that were lined up, and then I realized after like 4 episodes that I had everyone I had were men. And that was the big thing for me, was I want to have some sort of diversity. And so I decided that I had to have something else. And so I posted something on Twitter, which I still call it Twitter.
I think most people seem to.
And so I posted on Twitter, and then I can't remember his name. Is it Jacob?
Alex. I was just about to
Alex.
mention Podmatch.
Thank,
Yeah.
thank you very much on Podmatch. And so, Alex, I posted something on Twitter and just said, listen, I started a podcast and I need a couple of female guests. And that the only reason I said that was because I just wanted some diversity. That's all
Because
it
you're
was.
sexist. That's why.
I inherently, no. But yeah, I just wanted some. And so he responded and said he had a couple of people that were good matches for me, and he didn't say that he was the owner of the website, but when I clicked on them, I realized that that's where they were. And so I actually didn't connect with either of them, but I found the website, which, if people care, a Podmatch is really wonderful.
It is great.
It's really done so much for me. But that was the place that I found so many people, including you, and that was really what did it for me. And that once that happened, like, oh my god, the amount of guests that I've had, that it's been insane.
Well, that's
What
why
I've
you got
had.
my episode backed out to 2.5 months from now. Yeah.
Yeah, and no kidding, like,
Not
you're
even
not
a
being funny. It's true. Like, we're talking about, the episode that you recorded with me is what, September, August?
I think, well, so I looked it up before we hopped on here. So we recorded May 22nd, and I think you said it's going live August 10th.
Yeah.
So, and that's a promo too for my network. If you want to hear me get all sappy and talk about my mom, then tune in for August 10th on Where Have You Been? Well, yeah, I mean, we can if you want, but I don't want to make you. You want to
No,
talk
no.
about it?
I'll just listen. I'll abbreviate it because I think it's important because connection between human beings is so important, and the reason that you and I connected was because of travel, podcasts, and travel. But I think travel is the biggest catalyst. But like, we had this connection, and for some reason, it's just a weird thing. So weird. So I recorded an episode and whatever. It was Memorial Day weekend and I didn't have to work the next day. So whatever. And you and I had tried to connect, but we missed each other for some reason. But you're West Coast and I'm East Coast. And
Yeah.
and I'm a night owl, so you throw me a text message or something, I'm gonna respond. It's late for me, but it's early for you. And we decided we should have. So one of the things I do before I have my actual shows is a pre-interview. So I like to have, even though my show is a audio only podcast, I like to actually meet somebody through video first and have a conversation and just talk about, this is what I'm looking for. I just want you to know that this is what I want, and make sure we're on the same page, and just meet somebody face to face and get to know who they are and know, can we laugh together? Should I be serious? Like, how is this going to go? And so you and I met. You did not turn your video on.
It doesn't work, I promise. It really doesn't.
You can say whatever you want to say. That's fine. Your listeners love you, and that's fine. So, no video. I did have my video on, by the way, full disclosure. But so we talked for a little bit, but for some reason, like, we hit it off. And so we decided, even though, which I will tell you, as a host of a podcast, even though I don't have like pre-scripted questions, my podcast is very like conversational based. I do have some questions like at the end, but other than that, it's a very loose conversation.
Which is what
So
I love. Yeah.
I don't have to think that hard. But at the same time, I had just done a full episode, and for some reason, you mind fucked me into doing a second episode.
I didn't even, you requested it.
No, you did. It was your fault.
All right.
Either way. So whatever happened, we decided to record. And so we had a full episode. And something happened. I'm going to tell this story because I think it's very cool. Maybe very touching and maybe very upsetting. I don't know. I'm going to tell it if you're okay with it.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where you're going with it, which makes me excited. Go.
So I don't know what happened, but for some reason you talked about traveling with your mom. And you talked about not spending as much time with your mom as you wish. And I said something to the effect of, you need to work harder at that. Like something to that effect. And then time went on. We kept going with the episode, whatever. And then at some point, I don't know why, but for some reason, like I live in Pittsburgh, and I said something about you bringing your mom to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, I remember joking with you about it, that you, without having talked to her still or met her, you kind of formed a connection with her, it felt like.
And what I'll say to the listeners, for what it's worth, and again, I'm not trying to draw anything out of anybody. I'm not trying to be whatever. But when we recorded, I think we ended at like 1:30 in the morning Eastern. My mom passed away at like 1:15.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I've never in my life, in any episode I've ever recorded, you can go back and listen to every episode. I have never talked about my mom, like specifically, or I guess, or my guest's mom. But for some reason that night, I mentioned your mom a couple of times. And so like that for me was like, that was a connection that you and I have that we will always have. And it was just incredible for me. Like because I still have no idea.
Yeah.
To this day, I have no idea why we talked about that. And then you told me afterward about the connection that you had with your mom.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even, I don't want to put you on the spot because that's obviously among the most personal and private things that any of us will ever experience, losing a parent or a family member. So I don't want to, whatever, but
it's okay.
But I mean, most of my audience knows a little bit about my backstory, but moving 33 times before I was 18, and I had a weird childhood, and I've always had a unique relationship with my mom. And then as we talked about, my mother and I hadn't gotten to spend a lot of time together the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years here. And then just randomly, they were staying at one of the properties in Southern California, and they were driving back. They live in Oregon now. And they decided to stop and see me in Northern California. And this was like 2 days, and it was spontaneous. And it was like 2 days after you and I recorded. And we ended up, because of your show and you, and, I was prompted to tell my mom about that. And we had one of the most connecting, emotional conversations we've had in decades. So I don't know, again, I don't want to, go too deep on it, but because just out of respect for you and your mom. But I mean, who knows, maybe it's something with your mom and you and your connection, sharing that love with other people. I don't know, but whatever it was special. So anyway.
Makes me feel so good, man.
It's true. I mean, yeah, I'll when we get off here, I'll send you a text that she sent me after that. To make it lighter, I'll just say my mom's mad at you because you haven't sent me our episode yet because she wants to hear it. But now she'll hear this, so that's okay. I'm teasing.
I did do an edit, so I'll send it as soon as we're done. Like, what is your mom's name?
Reese. Well, it's funny too, and I'll tell you this, and she might get mad about this part because I don't know, she's kind of embarrassed by it for her. But so I'm half Italian, half Lebanese. My mom's Lebanese, and so her original name was Risha, which is a Lebanese name, but she didn't like that, so she changed it to Reese. But so now it's Reese.
That's the whole story. I'm sorry, that was very impactful. I felt that in my chest, my heart.
I don't know,
Reese. I love you. I mean that. And it's not because of your son. I just think that you're an incredible human being, and what you've been through in your life and everything you've had to endure. I just honestly human beings are so underappreciated as unique individuals, and I think that's part of what travel actually brings to like when you can relax on your grave whenever that day comes. If you can actually tell yourself that you've done everything you possibly could for like humanity, and just you've done whatever you can, you know, I just feel like travel is not just about yourself, and that's the biggest thing is you're impacting other people's lives whether you realize it or not, and if you're not, then you're vacationing, and that's okay. I just got really high pitched. And that's, but can you take that out? So, like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, vacationing is okay, but there's a difference, travel is different than vacationing. There's nothing wrong with a vacation, but travel is different. And I'm happy to talk to you about either, but traveling is my passion.
More profound. Yeah, or a lot more profound. In all seriousness, I mean, I know you're kind of kidding, but give everybody the website, because I might buy a shirt. If you have one in an extra medium, I'll buy a shirt.
What is extra medium?
That's an 80s joke, brother. That's for guys that work out, but you wear the small shirt so you show off your biceps.
Yeah. Do you show off your beard or you don't?
Yeah, I forgot that that's the part I forgot. He loves making fun of my beard. Yeah, that too.
I don't make fun of your beard. I just think that, your look is completely different from one picture. Look at
it's funny. When I was in my 20s and I didn't have anything, I was trying to impress people, I guess. I did wear the suit all the time. And then when I actually had some success, I'm like, you know what? I'm going camo hat, jeans, t-shirt, and beard. So anyway.
How'd that work out for you?
I mean, I'm still alive. I'm still here. But
I mean, if you're a good-looking guy, you can pull it off. It's all good.
Well, that's debatable, but I think that was a compliment. So I'm going to say thank you. I think. I'm not sure, but
we'll talk later.
But give me your website. I'm trying to promote you here. Give me your website.
All right. Is this like a 2-hour episode? So it's not. No, listen. He's going to edit this out. It's going to be like 35 minutes for sure.
It's just going to be all the stuff where he's complimenting me.
Guaranteed. Him and his wife. Yep. His wife is, by the way, is beautiful. She's really wonderful. Like her to put up with his bullshit, she's a saint.
She did call me if I don't edit that out, if anybody hears the iPhone ringing during when you were talking about the your beautiful heartfelt story about Colombia. She did call me and she's like, "Why are you on a podcast at this time of night?" So anyway,
it's because she's wonderful. Like she's really wonderful.
I'm grateful. She makes me pretty happy. She's decorating right now. She's decorating one of the condos that we got for the first time, and she's done a beautiful job. So that's fun too. Now give me your website.
Is that below you to do that yourself?
Oh, you have no idea the things I've done, brother.
My website is whybpodcast.com. It's where have you been? Where have you been? Podcast.com. So whybpodcast.com. That's all I got. Everything else I have, socials are like at whyb podcast. So,
which for those of you that don't like acronyms, obviously that stands for
YB. Yep.
YB what? Anyway,
you're not as funny as you think you are.
Yeah, that's what I have. My brother was.
Why couldn't you like me?
People understand that reference when they hear our episode.
Yeah, but if this episode airs first,
it will.
It's probably not good.
Well, no. Well, as I just say,
just wait for it.
Yeah,
wait for
it. Yeah, that's the teaser, as they say, as the kids say.
When you said it to me, I swear to you, man, I actually thought that you meant it. Like at first, I really did. I had a moment where I thought, did I go too far?
And you did. Yeah. And you did.
And I
And you should
did.
feel bad about that. You should feel bad about that.
I do feel bad about it now.
So, good. Good. Yeah, no, I was hurt for a few days. How you treated me. Honestly.
You're so mean that right now. You're so mean. I actually feel bad.
No, well, like I told you, when we were offline. It's funny because we I think we have a similar sarcastic sense of humor. And when you were teasing me, and I said that, I was like, "Why are you being so mean?" or whatever it is I said. I've said that before, like I told you offline, but I've only said it with like some of my closest best friends. So that's when I knew that I thought you were a pretty good guy. You have today ended that perception. So.
Okay, fair. That's fair. That's fair.
No.
Yeah, I know. I screwed that shit up pretty hard.
Well, it's funny. I was about to try to wrap it up, and then apparently my laptop's not plugged in because it just said your battery is running low, and so it's about to die on me anyway. But
The whole thing was trash anyway.
I think there's some pretty special stuff here. But and again, guys, I mean, I'll say before I ask you to kind of give your final thoughts, I'll just say, you want to listen to a guy that's just a naturally talented, gifted interviewer, and I think has some. I mean, because I feel like we ramble, but I guess we really kept it pretty on topic for the most part here, which is
You're not talking about me right now, are you?
Well, no, I mean, we kind of did. I thought we would go way off in the deep end, but we just kept it pretty much to trailer. A couple of sentimental things that are obviously pretty important above all else. But I mean, on your episode, we got into like mental health. We were talking about a whole bunch of wacky stuff. So, and you're just, you're a natural human being, and whether you want to acknowledge it or not, the human connection. I mean, I'm telling you, that's a blessing to me. So anyway, I appreciate you, and I think anybody would enjoy listening to the Where Have You Been podcast, my official promo. And give me your closing thoughts before you fall asleep on me here. Because it's now 2:30 a.m. for you.
I didn't look at the clock, so thanks a lot, Dick. I don't have anything, honestly. Like, for what it's worth, like, what do I want to say? Like, you and I talk, and we just have a fun time, and you're right. Like, we hit it off from day one. Like, the first moment we actually were able to talk, which was the second or third time we were supposed to actually connect. Yeah, no, it's been a good time. We've had a good run. I have nothing as far as like travel's concerned. Like, just be kind to each other and just realize that when you go to other places, you're dealing with human beings who have similar life experiences that you have, and realize that even though they're in a different situation than you are, they're still the same. Other than that, like, just treat each other nicely. That's all I have. Very basic. Just be human beings.
Because we all are that. We are all that.
And support Stephen. I'm sorry, Stephan.
They know my name. Their listeners to this podcast know how to pronounce my name.
Is it Stephan? Is that right?
Get out of here.
Yeah. Love you, man.
Appreciate you, brother. Love you as well. And thank you for doing this. And again, guys, I'll say it one more time because I mean it. Go check out and subscribe to the Where Have You Been podcast, and subscribe to mine too while you're at it, because there's a lot of you that listen that don't, and I'm angry and sad.
It's okay. It's okay.
Watch more subscribe to you than they do.
Just be yourself. Just be yourself, man. Whatever. I appreciate you too very much.